if you want to grow your billings and make your way to partner, is identifying the market that you're going after. And there are a couple of key characteristics we're going to look at here. Damien Andrews for NextGenSales Professional. And how do you go about target market identification? This is really, really critical if you want to grow your billings and make your way to partner, is identifying the market that you're going after. And there are a couple of key characteristics we're going to look at here. And the first is your business type. So what is the businesses that align with your firm's expertise or where you want to take your firm's expertise to? So you have two areas there. You might want to expand on what is already the expertise, or expand on the clients within that expertise. But the firm might have a strategic aim to move into different areas. And then this can be things such as small businesses, it can be startups, mid-sized companies, and also multinationals as well. And then we move into that specialization, the industry specialization. And this is where you might have your firm has a deep knowledge and experience in areas such as healthcare. It might be technology, it might be real estate and finance. So that's the second area. So you're looking at the business type, which area you're aiming at. Generally, that's small or startup or established businesses and the size. And then we're talking about industry specialization. So you want to categorize that. And then we take that further and look at a revenue size as well. Are they a sufficient size to match what you're aiming for a firm? Which is pretty straightforward. So that's just a number. The location can be important from that you might have where your office is and you want them located around that area. Obviously, you want to be in an area where the law that you're dealing with or the accounting knowledge, if it's accounting, is applicable to those organizations. So it might be a case of your specific states and you need to be located within there. The other thing to look at is legal and financial needs, depending on whether you're law or accounting. And you identify the clients, what their specific requirements are. So they might be about intellectual property. It might be contracts, setting up contracts to do with, for example, there might be a construction firm and they need contracts set up for their subcontractors or with the head contractor, those kind of things. You might be looking at mergers. You might be looking at tax planning. There's a bunch of areas in those bunch of financial needs or law needs, legal needs that they will have. So what is your aim in regard to that? So that's another area to look at. The other thing to consider is the long-term potential, because there's a lot of time that goes into setting up and building that relationship. You want to maintain and work with your clients as long as possible and provide that value as long as possible. And if they've only got a short term, a setup and then they're pretty much fine, that might not be your ideal client. It might be, it might not. But you need to identify what is that long term potential. Compatibility and values is an important part that's not often discussed, but do you align with the firm's mission, culture, and their working relationships? Because especially with accounting and law, there's generally an ongoing relationship, and you need to be able to connect at a level where you actually do connect, like you do have a strong relationship. It almost becomes like family. Financial stability is a difficult one, probably more so in the law space than in the accounting space, because in the accounting space, you've probably got a good idea of what they're doing financially, legally, maybe not so much because you're not looking at the numbers, but it's one of those things that you want to look at and pay attention to, certainly signals that are there as to their financial stability, because you don't want to be spending a lot of time with a company that's not moving forward very well and might not be around in the future. So you're looking for that financial stability and also to the stability in the ability to generate consistent income. So you want that consistency of billable hours coming in because they've got needs for those services consistently. And there's a number of different areas that falls into, and we'll discuss that separately. Referral potential is one to consider as well. Do they have the ability do they have connections that can help, again, refer? Because if you've got a good relationship with them, and you're adding a lot of value to them, then they're highly likely to refer you to somebody else, which makes your life a lot easier as far as growing your billables to on your way to partner. Communication style is another important factor that plays into it, which comes back to that relationship that we were talking about before, compatibility and values. What is the communication style that's needed? And there's a whole topic that we will deal with separately on how to communicate, because ideally, just because you communicate a certain way doesn't mean you're stuck with that. And if the client or potential client communicates differently, well, you can adjust to suit. You need to be able to deliver the value again. Compatibility with the fee structure. Obviously, you've got a fee structure as to how you need to get paid. And also, too, they've got budgets that they need to align with as well. So you need to get an understanding of is there a fit there? And obviously the growth potential. Are they, a growing business with ongoing needs that is continually growing? If they're continually letting out new contracts which need, legal support, there's a great source of revenue growth there. So there's some ideal client characteristics to look for, to categorize and help you on your journey. Certainly, if you're balancing your time, you're obviously very busy with the work that you're doing. You want to maximize the potential of the work you're doing in sense of building up those billables and on your way to partnership. So there's some key things to look at as to how to define that.